impact on the overall bullpen?
Yeah, obviously another disappointing injury. We've had to deal with quite a few of those this year, and it's unfortunate for Oliver. Right now, it's forearm flexor strain. I think we're going to dig in a little bit and try and figure out exactly what the prognosis is. But adding Trevor Richards to the pen today, and just replacing Oliver obviously off the roster.
And can you speak to, obviously you guys have used the opener so many times, but the challenges of this particular lineup in terms of how you use an opener, especially being so heavily right-handed as they are?
Sure. There's multiple reasons. I think we've used openers in the past, be it soft landings for guys that have gotten to the big leagues, trying to take advantage of not overexposing guys, either, the times to the order effect or the meat of the lineup in particular. This is a formidable lineup. There's no question about that. Doesn't matter who's pitching. But we do feel like it does give us an advantage, just as far as going into this game and some contrast involved.
Hey, Kyle, how's it going?
Hey, Juan.
You guys have obviously played 4 games in a row, a bunch of times, but probably not with this level of stress behind every single pitch. How do you think the guys have kind of handled, being honest with you and the staff about how they're feeling on a day-to-day basis?
I think they've handled it. I think they've done an incredible job on, but I think the relationships that, the pitchers have with Stan, myself, Kevin, transparency, and a lot of that just over the course of not just this year, but over the course of the last couple of years, trusting in them in terms of just their, physical ability to pitch a lot more often than they pitched in the regular season. And we didn't use any of our relievers 3 times in a row. We're certainly going to use, call upon quite a few guys today with kind of an all hands on deck approach. But I think they've done a tremendous job, certainly thus far.
Kyle, in terms of what Shane did yesterday, how he was able to stay in the strike zone and not, get thrown off by the Stanton homer, and how important was it that he was able to complete an inning so you didn't have to go 1+ with anybody yesterday like that at the end?
That was huge, and that's just a testament to the competitor that he is, the confidence and the stuff that he has, in himself, and to come out on this stage and pitch his first 2 games of his major league career, in an AL division series, against a lineup like that, just speaks volumes, not just to myself, but to, the entire staff, and I'm sure the entire team. But it was just to get right back in there, pound the zone, use the breaking ball afterwards, come up with a couple of punch outs, his first one in his major league career. I thought Shane looked fantastic.
Kyle, 2 months ago, Ryan Thompson never made a big league. It never had big league out, big league inning, and now you're handing him the ball to open this game. Speak to the faith that you and Cash have in giving him the ball today.
Well, he certainly earned his stripes through the course of this year. Despite the journey, I think he missed 6 weeks last year with a broken foot. Really went to work a lot this offseason. Opened our eyes in spring training and the initial spring training before we hit the pause button. The breaking ball's improved a tremendous amount through the course of the last 12 months. And he's pitched some really big innings for us and come up huge, just given the injuries that we've had to that bullpen throughout the course of the year. We have a tremendous amount of confidence in him in any role. He's obviously opened once or twice before, but I think under these circumstances, we have a lot of confidence in him. He worked 2 innings, I believe, on 21 pitches the other day. It'd certainly be nice to see something like that out of the gates, this afternoon.
And what is it about this system with you, with the minor leagues, that allows guys like him and Curtis to find their careers here and maybe in other spots they weren't able to?
It's a cohesive effort. There's, between, Dewey Robinson, Rick Knapp, Jorge Moncada, the communication, that we're getting from those guys, Stan and myself, it's just, there isn't much that's lost in terms of what we think these guys are capable of, really prioritizing who they're becoming, and making sure that these pitchers understand, not just what they're capable of, but what they're capable of being. And, we really focus a lot on, really instilling a lot of confidence in these guys, a lot of confidence in their abilities. But again, this is certainly a group effort. I'm just at this level, and throughout a regular season, I mean, you're looking at 12 or 13 guys, but you typically lean on. I think we used 31 last year in the regulars, like a full season. It just speaks to all the work that's done behind the scenes at the developmental levels, and in particular this year at our alternative site down in Port Charlotte, and all the work that those guys have put in with these players.
Hey, Kyle, how are you doing?
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good. Sorry I missed the beginning. I'm sure it was incredibly good, and I'm going to regret it. Hey, in your professional opinion, what makes Nick Anderson so effective, and what makes him different than other guys who maybe have a similar arsenal?
The strike throwing and his ability to locate his pitches, where they have the greatest amount of value, Mark. He defends the running game well, and he's just a super trustworthy, guy to come into situations where his back's against the wall. I mean, all the guys are competitive, but his competitive nature certainly, shines through, in that fireman role when we bring him in to really put out the fire when there's traffic there. I can't say enough about what we've seen from him the last 2 months of last season and all the way through this season as well. But in terms of what separates him, I would probably just say the size of the stuff, the quality of the breaking ball, and his execution is definitely a major separator between him and somebody else with a similar profile.
And I know sometimes as a pitching coach, you have to play kind of pop psychologist too a little bit. How does his demeanor factor in, his personality? It seems like a slow twitch kind of guy, and a couple of other players said they think he only has one facial expression. I don't know if you've ever seen a different one.
No, I think that's consistent. But I think I do believe that. I mean, he doesn't show any emotion, right? And there isn't any. When he's out on the mound, there isn't any, indication for the opposing offense that he's rattled. He certainly stays within himself, but he pitches with a tremendous amount of confidence. And I think that's probably the biggest separator.
Thank you.
Hey, Kyle, in putting together a bullpen that had the 13 guys with saves, but also does openers, does all sorts of different things. You have to get guys comfortable doing these different things. Could you let us in on the process of aiding and abetting that comfort level, getting them ready for this sort of thing?
Sure. Again, I think a lot of this, comes back to just instilling confidence in these guys and helping them understand, like, genuinely how good that they are. Hitting is difficult, at the end of the day. But, I think the environment is a key factor here, and that starts with Kevin. But when you're talking about the bullpen, you got to bring Stan Borowski into the equation and his ability to prepare these guys in real time, as well as instill confidence just in his preparedness and how he goes about preparing them for each of their outings. The care and concern for each of these players is something that we take a great deal of pride in each day. Even when we're just making the rounds through catch play in 20 minutes and maybe chatting about the previous day's outing, or if we're working on something in particular. But I do feel like one of the bigger separators beyond the environment, that Cashie's instilled here is just really, fortifying their confidence and belief in themselves and belief in who they're becoming as pitchers.
Anything else for Kyle?
Kyle, I'm sorry. I know you guys are thinking very positively here, but if Blake were to pitch tomorrow, what would be the challenges on the short rest?
Well, I mean, he pitched on short rest last year to come in the relief appearance,
right.
But his workload, has been reasonable, coming off the Blue Jay start. He's a little north of that, obviously, in the start here in the first game. But I have all the confidence in the world that Blake's going to be capable, of a fairly normal or a fairly typical workload in a game 5, despite the fact that it would be just coming on 3 days of rest.
All